All right, good morning and welcome back. I'm going to address a comment that I actually said I was going to address. I responded to the comment saying I'm going to respond more in full to this comment in an upcoming video. So I'm just going to find the comment, but I've written down a note for it and it's pre-recorded answers. So I'm just going to refresh my memory. Probably should have done this before starting the recording, but that's how I do it. All right, here's the one. Alice Dare Taylor 3478, 5 days ago. Here is the comment. What about having users pre-record answers to questions or a little audio intro that plays before users choose to connect or not? It keeps it audio focused, but also means you give users a choice to connect or not. Also would be good to combat bot spam accounts. Okay, so here's what that means if you don't understand it. Let's try a connection. So here, when we get this message, this is when we've been connected to someone and we're going to end up in a phone call together. But before we end up in the phone call together, we get this pop-up that basically tells us like, this is who we found for you, Sarah Test, 25 years old. Would you like to connect with this person or not? And this is where you get the option to accept the call or not. And what he's suggesting here is that what if you had pre-recorded voice notes that come up here. So essentially, when this comes up, you also get a little voice note that everyone pre-records. That's like, it could be, I don't know, Hinge has these like prompts. A lot of apps have these prompts today, but maybe it's a prompt like, what's your favorite movie or something? And then you pre-record a voice note saying, hey, my name is Cal. My favorite movie is this because of this. Okay. Let's say that's what you do. And that's a good idea, I think. It's not terrible. I just feel like I feel like there's a vast difference between a voice note and talking to someone on the phone. It's almost like seeing a picture of someone versus seeing them in real life, if that makes sense. Because what happens when you're listening to a voice note is there's no one on the other end, so you're just like there kind of awkwardly recording something to no one in particular, and you have no one that's going to hear you and you have no one to interact with. It does give you the voice and you get to hear that, and if you're good at recording voice notes, then it might be beneficial for you. I would say that I would probably rank high in that because I'm a YouTuber, so I'm very used to like talking to no one, because I'm talking to no one right now. But that's a skill, and that's the reason why I feel like I'm also hyper aware, I guess, of what it's like recording and what it can be interpreted as when you're recording voice notes like this, because I've been a beginner at YouTube and I've been essentially then a beginner at recording myself talking to absolutely no one. And it's something that I've put a lot of deliberate thought into and like tried to get good at being myself on camera. And to me, that's something that some people just have that. Some people can just do it and they don't struggle with it at all. They're just a natural at being themselves. Essentially, they forget about the camera, I think, and I think they forget maybe they're less like heady, less caught up in their own thoughts. So like the way that I work is I think and then I speak typically. I don't speak and then realize, oh, what did I just say? But when you're doing YouTube stuff, you sort of have to speak as you think, if that makes sense. You need to shorten the distance from a thought that you have to the output of that thought, if that makes sense. Like that distance between those two has to be really short or it doesn't have to, but I think it's good if it's the shorter that it is. And I think people that are the kind of people who think out loud are typically a lot better at YouTube stuff because they don't filter what they're saying, and that by definition is like more authentic. Whereas me, I filter what I say a lot if I'm in the real world, if that makes sense. So in order to get better at YouTube, I've had to practice removing this filter that I have and getting better at just saying or thinking out loud, which I'm still not very good at all. And the reason then for me that I am thinking about these voice notes things is that I know that it's a hard thing to do for some people. It's really hard to record a voice note and be normal. And it's not at all as difficult doing that if you're in an actual phone call. Like that's a completely different thing. Obviously you can't like, what do you call it? Cater. You can't cater to everyone and everyone's needs because everyone has different phobias. Like there are people that have, I don't know what you call it, like phone call anxiety or phone call phobia, whatever that would be called, where they are scared of going into a phone call with someone because of whatever anxieties that they have. And for them, it might be better to have just a voice note before, because then there's no pressure at all. But for some people, they would have the opposite. And the thing for me, I think the voice notes open up for, or the pre-recorded messages open up for a lot more judgment. I think you can be way more judgy towards something that is that's not live and that's not real, if that makes sense. I think that's what I'm trying to say. And what I mean there is that when you're seeing a voice note of someone, you're just unattached. You're not interacting with this person at all. You're just seeing the voice note, you're hearing it, and you can think whatever you want. You can take however long you want to think about it. And yeah, you don't really have to worry about it, if that makes sense. Or no, not worry. But I don't know, I was on like YouTube Shorts this morning and I saw this. I hate those sort of podcasts, but there was this podcast, and I think you've seen it. It's this classic podcast where they have like OnlyFans people on, and there's some guy interviewing them. And they were on, I think they were on Bumble, and they were basically going like this one OnlyFans girl. I'm assuming she was an OnlyFans girl. They typically only have OnlyFans girls on that show. She was on there looking at Bumble profiles of like guys, I think. And they were showing the pictures of the guys, and then you could hear her saying like whether she would swipe yes or no to that. And she was like, no, 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 no. She didn't say yes to anyone. Obviously, this is very like, what is that called? The observer effect, where it's like she was in a podcast. She was probably a very specific type of person, I would guess. So she's probably not a good representation of everyone. But I think it's also fairly true. Like you can sort of extrapolate that onto a larger population as well, I think, because I think that it's pretty common to, let's say that you'd have those guys actually come up to her in real life and she wasn't being observed. This was just, she was out on the street and people were just coming up to her. I would assume that she would not say no to half as many, but there's something where you like, there's an abstraction that happens, I feel like, where okay, I'm trying to sound smart here. I think when you're on your phone, there can be different layers of abstraction. So what I mean by abstraction here is that you get further and further away from reality, if that makes sense. And so the first layer of abstraction is the, like, or not the first layer of abstraction, but when you're just seeing pictures of someone, you're so far removed from who this is, you don't see anything. Like, you only get the details of the particular pixels in that photo. And if the person, there's so many things that you can judge because you're so abstracted from it. Like, you're not in the real world, if that makes sense, which means that tiny things that you see in this picture will throw you off and you'll feel like, oh no, actually he's wearing a hat, he's wearing it backwards, he's, I don't know, he's wearing red and blue, what kind of color match is that? Like, there can be all kinds of things that you could judge very strangely when you're as far removed from the person as you are when you're looking at just a picture of them on a dating profile. And I think the same thing happens with, it seems like the same thing wouldn't happen when you're having a voice note or pre-recorded voice thing. But I think the same thing happens still, because you're not actually interacting with anyone, you're just hearing a voice of someone, which is pretty similar to seeing a photo of them. You're just like, okay, they recorded this, but they're not gonna know who I am. They're not gonna know my reaction. They're not gonna see anything. I think there's something healthy about real world interactions where you're like, I'm standing here in front of you, and what happens then is I don't wanna hurt your feelings, so I'm gonna subconsciously react in a different way, which also makes me kind of kinder towards you. Most people, I think it would make you more kind. And I think that the fact that you do become a little bit kinder also means that you open up for more possibilities where you would just like, I don't know, maybe you'd swipe left on that person if you saw them on a dating app, but when you see them in real life, you wouldn't. And that's why I don't really like the voice notes, because I still think that it's too far abstracted from reality. You're still not seeing anything. So what I want is to, as much as possible, remove any information about this person before you get into a phone call, because when you're in a phone call, you're as close to seeing someone in real life as you can be, I feel like, on these dating apps. Because now you're actually talking to them, now you have some social pressure of like, I can't just be totally rude to them, I have to maintain some sort of I don't know. I just feel like it's going to be way different, and that's why I don't want to. I feel like it's almost like the prompts too, or like the bio stuff for like dating profiles is also something that very often, because the other person doesn't sense your tone of voice, doesn't know your type of or personality or humor or anything like that, And there's like a million ways to read a piece of text. And so because of that, unless you read it exactly the way that I thought of it, it could have like a million different meanings or connotations, or just fall very differently than how it would if I would have said it to you live. And I think it's pretty similar with a voice note when you don't have anyone else interacting with you. So maybe you're doing a voice pre-recorded message where you're trying to make a joke, but since you're not actually in a phone call, it becomes this sort of, I think the observer effect comes into play there. I don't know if it's called the observer effect, I don't know what it's called, but the idea that you change things by observing them. And I think that if you're in a phone call with someone, they could do the same joke in the same kind of way, but you might find it more funny in the actual phone call because you are interacting with it. You're not in the same kind of judgmental state, if that makes sense. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying really. I don't know if there's any science to back this up. This is just a feeling that I have. I feel like we don't want to tell the user too much about who they're going to talk to until they actually start talking to them, because we want them to find out about the person in the phone call, and not before the phone call, because if you're doing it before the phone call, then it's pretty much like every other dating app. Okay, long story short, but that is my response to the comment. And then we have Jason C2901, who actually said something pretty smart too, which I haven't implemented, but this particular time it was kind of obvious, or showed us that this is an important thing, which is that the timer here should be 5 minutes, and we shouldn't start the timer until both users are in the actual phone call. So right now it's only like 55 seconds left, and that's because we took so long just in the should we accept or should we not accept the phone call phase. So what he's suggesting here is that we should have like we're waiting on user B to join, hang tight, and we can have it like a screen before the person joins, so that we don't end up in this sort of state where we just get like a 1 minute phone call because I took way too long deciding whether I should go into the phone call or not. Plus we're also wasting our minutes, which you only get 50 minutes per month, so don't want to waste that. Okay, so we have a few things that we want to do. Okay, so I got a comment on the last video which suggested that instead of having the skip tutorial thing pop up as something up here, we should move it to inside the tutorial pop-up window, which I think is good because I think that sort of added confusion because it was a bit hard to know where to look, essentially. So tap this button to be matched with someone new for authentic voice conversation. Okay, and then you get to this place, and then finding your match, app is searching for someone available. Call timer. So here I feel like this should be white maybe in the background, or obviously then we might need to change the color of the text, but essentially right now it's not very obvious what is being highlighted, but this is what is being highlighted. So we need that to be more obvious. This is also, I feel like it's a bit difficult to tell that this is being highlighted. Okay, this might be better, but I don't know what the arrows that they created are, but this is what the arrow looks like. Probably want some sort of other arrow, but find someone to talk to, tap this button, okay. And then what happens here? Finding your match, okay. Okay, and the arrow is just hidden, which is like, what the fuck? hidden again, hidden again, hidden again, hidden again, hidden again, hidden again. Okay, so I don't really like this design, like the crooked arrow that points up like that. It just doesn't look very good, does it? And here, because it's white, you don't see where it's pointing to. I don't like that it overlaps with the elements. Here it pushes this window down to like very low. And then here it's like, it's a better indication of this because you really see that, okay, this is what we're looking at. But it just doesn't look very good when it's crooked. And here it kind of overlaps, not very good. This is decent, not good, not good, not good. So let's see if it fixed it now. Still, I don't know if this is a good idea. Not good, not good, not good, not good, not good. Okay. Okay, this is actually pretty good, I think. Okay, now they're actually pulsing a little bit. What I would have liked is like this wave type of effect, which I don't know how to do or what to call it. All right, let's see what this became. I like that. So now let's do All right, I think that looks pretty good actually. There's one thing that we would need. So I need to change, tap this button to be matched with someone new for an authentic voice conversation. You'll connect instantly and can start talking right away. Okay. Can start. Okay. And then we go to the app is searching for someone available to talk. In a real call, this usually takes just a few seconds. That's true. Then we have here's a timer for the phone call. Each call lasts 5 minutes. Perfect. Profile reveal progress. Profile reveal. As the call continues, the profile will save. It's a full image. That's good. Tap the heart. Okay. Here we go. Tap the heart icon if you enjoyed talking with this person. If they like you back, you'll match and can continue talking. It's a better choice. Next, not interested. Tap next to move on to someone new without liking. We don't have to. Okay, I think that is quite good for the tutorial. Find someone to talk to. Tap this button to be matched with someone for an authentic voice conversation. Finding your match. The app is searching for someone available to talk. In a real call, this usually takes just a few seconds. Call timer. Here's a timer for the phone call. Each call lasts 5 minutes. Profile overview. As the call continues, the profile picture becomes clearer. The progress bar shows how much of the picture has been revealed. At the end of the call, you'll see the full image. Conversations are the... Tap the heart icon if you enjoy talking with this person. If they like you back, you'll match and can continue talking. If this person wasn't for you, tap next to move on to someone new. All right, I think it's good. All right, so now we're testing this thing out because right now the minutes are running out. I don't know if I said this or only wrote it to Claude, but right now the minutes are running out before you even get into a phone call, which is not good. So we're gonna try accepting the call on one end. Did not work. All right, we're gonna have to call it a day here. I was going to stop like 30 minutes ago, but we basically need to get to the point where, or we need to change some backend stuff, I think, to trigger things in the right way. I thought I could just paste the answer that Claude, like the local Claude, sent to me from the code, and paste it into this chat, but this chat doesn't seem to be able, or doesn't seem to know what it's done before, or it's maybe I haven't done anything with the backend before on this, but I'm pretty sure I have. Because basically it wants to add a call started at timestamp, which, if I'm looking at the calls here, then I'm pretty sure we have created at, updated at, and ended at. So it essentially doesn't know that. I don't know. It seems to know some things. Either way, I really have to get going now. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll continue in the next one and see how far we get. But yeah, see you in the next video, which will be on Friday.